What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back for another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. If you are listening to this, thank God. Thank God. On God. Thank God. On God. I don't know what happened to last week's feed from Anchor / now Spotify podcast to Apple, but they shut that joint down. It was shut down, which is why a lot of you probably saw the episode uploaded to any other platform outside of Spotify late. So, as y'all know, or hopefully I mentioned this, I use Anchor as my platform to record, edit, and upload podcasts. The way I had Anchor set up is once it's uploaded, it then blasts it out to all of the podcast sites that I have my profile connected to. I had it connected to mostly all of them. The major one, of course, Apple Podcasts. Well, recently, Anchor rebranded and it's now called Podcast for Spotify or Spotify Podcast. Either one. Interchangeable. It's now that. Did the same thing I did every other week where I upload the podcast. It's supposed to disperse at a certain time on a certain day. But all of a sudden, I started getting messages from people saying, Where's the episode? There's no new episode. Are you taking a break? Are you out of town traveling? I go to look. Apparently with this new rebranding, all of the features that you set up on the back end are gone. I literally had to reconfigure the feed from Spotify back to all of the podcast sites that I sent it out to. And I don't know what happened. At one point I was like, forget it. I ain't gonna be able to do the podcast no more because it can't nobody listen. And then magically, whatever I did worked. So we're going to try it out again this week. If you listen to this podcast episode and it is later than usual, than your usual listen day or time, because it wasn't popping up, it didn't appear, you couldn't find it, please let me know, because then we're going to have to do something else. I don't know what else. I don't know, but they hating on me. Okay. Whoever on the back end of the upgraded air quotes platform where I'm recording these podcasts in or at, they hating on me. They hating on me. I hope I fixed it, but if not, we might be asked out, y'all. I don't got no other backup option. Listen, I just want to make sure y'all were updated about that though, because when I'm out, I usually tell y'all I'm out, except for maybe like one instance. But in this case, had the podcast ready to go, was excited to hear thoughts about me talking about Angela Bassett not winning the Oscar and everything surrounding that. But, you know, it is what it is. So hopefully we back on the block this week. We back up. And if not, we just going to have to troubleshoot. But y'all look out. And if y'all not receiving it the way y'all used to receive it or at the time and date that y'all usually get it, hit me up. Just hit me up on social like usual and let me know. With that said and moving on, I real quick want to mention the Ciara dress fiasco because I forgot to talk about it last week and I just want to highlight it for the sake of highlighting it, not necessarily going too deep into the topic, because I feel like on social media we have literally been fighting to the death about this. So at the Oscars Academy Awards, the after party hosted by Vanity Fair, which they have every year, the theme this year was like sheer old Hollywood glam, barely there. Lots of different actresses dressed according to the dress code. They had on sheer outfits, sheer dresses, sheer pantsuits, sheer gowns. Ciara did the same and had on a sheer number with a G-string and pasties on, accompanied by her husband, Russell Wilson. She was looking good. Let me tell y'all something about Ciara. Ciara body is insane. I say this as a grown woman who does not have children. Sierra is a grown woman who does have children, had 3 kids, and her body looked like a 24-year-old who be in that gym. I mean, I just don't know how she do it. I know how she do it. She got money. When you got money, you can get a trainer. You got the chef coming to the house. They can prepare your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They doing all the prep work. You ain't got to be in the kitchen cooking and cleaning. You wake up, you got your schedule and your agenda. The trainer come to the house. Y'all do y'all workout. She go to her fitness center in her own home because Russell, her husband, is a world-class athlete, and they got the gym built there out back. They got a training facility on the grounds. So I know how she does it. But I'm saying as far as metabolism, I don't know how it does it. Because, honey, on this end, the body ain't bodying like it used to. So with that said, the point is, she was looking good. She was accompanied by her husband, Russell Wilson. And somehow the Ashies on Twitter caught a hold of it and thought that, or deemed that she was disrespecting her husband, disrespecting her marriage, disrespecting God. She was a hoe. You name it, they said it. People, if that was my wife, we wouldn't even be in that situation. My wife ain't getting a dress like that. You right. Your wife ain't Sierra. Let me explain something. And again, y'all probably have went down all of these rabbit holes or heard these thoughts or something similar, but I've got to get it off my chest quickly. When you date and marry somebody, you marry that person for who they are. Russell Wilson, while Sierra is a great woman, I'm sure she's a great person. Don't get it twisted. These athletes, these rappers, these celebrities, they marrying these women because those people. Russell Wilson married Sierra because she was Sierra, the R&B star. Yes, she probably was a wonderful woman, loved her children, loved him. He fell in love with her, but do not get it twisted. They be marrying people because of who they are. He even mentioned how when he first saw her or met her, when she walked in, she tilted the room. Yes, you can do that as a person who is not a celebrity, but again, he married her because of who she was. D-Wade married Gabby because she was Gabby. Devon Franklin married Megan Good because she was Megan Good. And so on and so on. So why would Russell Wilson get into a relationship with a woman and know who she is and know the music industry and know the importance of appeal, sex appeal, image, dress, all of that comes with the business? Why would he then get into a relationship with her and then try to change her and make her be wearing turtleneck sweaters all around town? If he did that, y'all should look at Russell Wilson as not necessarily a good man, because you have to allow people to be people within their relationship. That's who you marry. Sierra was on top of a car twerking in the O video. So why are people shocked if she is now still being a celebrity and an R&B star and dressing sexy and showing her body? That's who she was. So what if y'all saw her in church praising him with Russell? You can go to church and still dress sexy afterwards. Y'all, we got to get a grip. I say all that to say, somebody put it really well on social media. They said something to the effect of, basically, if you don't need to be worrying about what Sierra doing because you ain't got no money. Like, and I'm not saying people who actually worried about her, everybody ain't got no money, but you got to worry about what's in your bracket. Okay. If you dating R&B singers and stars and pop singers and celebrities, that's a different level of worry. You can have that conversation and be like, and say stuff like, if my girl would never walk out the house like that. Because if you dating women like that, you dating a woman in that business, and that is a valid concern for you. But if you work at the bank and your girl work at the bank, worry about what y'all gonna be worrying about. Don't be on the internet talking about what you wouldn't let. If you was with Sierra, you ain't gonna be with Sierra. You just ain't. Okay? We all got to come to the realization, okay? I realize I'm not going to be with Idris Elba. I ain't going to be with him. Yeah, he married. And in my heart of hearts, I really believe that's why. But the point is, I got to stay in my lane. I can't be talking about what I wouldn't do with Idris Elba and be on the internet yelling about it, because I ain't going to be with Idris Elba. We all got to be realistic. That's all I'm saying. What do y'all think about the Sierra dress? Do y'all think she looked great? Because I think she was looking fantastic. The body was bodying. And I've been in the gym, aka walking, every day since. So hit me up with your thoughts about it. I'm at Cornelia on social media. Now, this conversation is about Scottie Pippen. And I say that because the conversation initiated through his ex-wife, Larsa. I think her name, that's how you pronounce her name, Larsa. And we talk about Black news topics on this show. And I don't know Larsa's background, so I'm saying that for us, we talking about Scottie to continue. Larsa is on a reality show. I forget which one. And at the reunion, there was a conversation and a clip from what she had to say went viral, where she talks about how her and Scottie Pippen had sex 4 times a day for 23 years. I repeat, she said her and Scottie Pippen was doing it 4 times a day, every day for 23 years. Now, first, if y'all be listening to this podcast, y'all be driving the kids to school, just skip over this part. They ain't gonna get too crazy, but just skip over it because the kids in the car. If they in there, turn it down, come back to put the kid music on, put tab time on, and then come back to it. 23 years, 4 times a day. Now, when the internet heard this, everybody went crazy. People were saying that's a lie, cap. She had kids. There has to be downtime. You on your cycle. You have to take a break. That's cap. And a part of it, yes, that there are times where you're physically unable to do that. Okay. However, I want y'all to put yourself in the mindset of some of these athletes. And I'm not a professional athlete. I know some professional athletes. And I'm here to tell y'all, some of them don't be having nothing to do. People's like, she got something to do. How he gonna be an NBA champion and he doing all of this? Scottie Pippen retired in 2008. He got divorced from that woman in 2021. When you hoop, them basketball dudes. Now, if you a professional basketball player and that this is incorrect, please hit me up and chime in. I'm just going off of what I have witnessed or seen or heard. They might there's practice every day. Basketball, they not really super duper film heavy like football players, but they practice every day. The most I've seen basketball dudes be up at the facility is at the max 4 hours a day. That's max. So let's say you at the facility from 8 o'clock to 12 p.m. noon. You get home, you got the rest of the day. They don't be having nothing to do. I don't know Scottie personal business, but I don't recall him being really real deep in like publicly in real estate. He didn't have no hobbies that were public facing that we could assume have taken up his time. For all we know, that brother was back at the house at 12 noon with time to spare. And what happens when you have a lot of money and you are in a power position in your home? You feel like you can do whatever you want. So when I hear that woman was having to have sex with Scottie Pippen 4 times a day, the first thing I thought was that's probably true because Scottie ass didn't have nothing else going on. This man retired in 2008. He wasn't doing nothing. Now, he probably had a couple business meetings per week. He was probably taking calls, maybe golfing a little bit. But again, he probably didn't have nothing to do. So She probably had to be at home, stay at home mom. It don't sound like she had a job or a career. That poor thing had to entertain Scottie 4 times a day. That poor woman. That poor woman. And again, I'm just speaking from seeing or having known people in the professional sports complex. They be, after they get home from practice, basketball, they be just sitting around. So it doesn't, poor thing. I hope it's not true. We need to get Scottie on the phone. After all of this conversation, ain't nobody got Scottie on the jack. Hit Scottie on the hip. He's got to chime in at this point because the streets need to know. 1, is she lying? 2, is she telling the truth? Scottie, why would you do that to that woman? That sounds terrible. That is the most oppressive shit I've heard. Girl, 4 times a day for 23 years? I can't. I would have played dead. I would have faked my... Y'all remember the movie Sleeping with the Enemy? Remember on Sleeping with the Enemy? Now, Sleeping with the Enemy was heavy because that woman was in her house being abused by her husband. He was beating her. It was bad. This was starring Julia Roberts and that man who played in a lot of movies. He played that creepy character in a lot of the movies. They lived in this ocean front house. She was this good wife, but he was beating her to the point where she learned how to swim behind his back because he thought she couldn't swim and was scared of the water. She was sneaking down to the YWCA every day to learn how to swim. She went out on a boat cruise with him, like a sailing trip, and it was choppy waters. She fell into the water and was faking like she was drowning and disappeared. This man was grieving. She done moved away and started her own life because she was sick of that man being oppressive and abusive, rightfully so. Child, Larsa Pippen should have did that. She should have learned how to swim. She should have took Scottie and them kids out on a boat in choppy waters, dove her ass into the Atlantic at night after dark. He would have sailed back, called 911. They couldn't find her, and she moved somewhere else and started anew because of 4 times a day for 23 years. I'm out of here. Speaking of, now Larsa is dating Michael Jordan's son. That has been all of the rage and the scandal. So I don't know much about that. I do know she was on Tamron Hall a little while ago, and Tamron was getting into her, trying to figure out why and asking her, what's that all about? So look that up on your own time on after work when you trying to catch up on the day's events and things. Just hit the YouTube search button and type in that Tamron Hall Larsa interview, and it's a doozy. But overall, let me know what y'all thought about the Scottie, and if y'all really believe this is true, hit me up on social media with your thoughts. Next, I want to talk about this trend that has been going around for a while that I've been paying attention to. I just haven't spoken on it because there was no point at the time. But there was a video that I found quite amusing that went viral, and I was like, let me bring this to the podcast. We talking about passport bros. Passport bros. So I don't know the official definition of passport bros, and I say that because I'm going to say what I assume them to be. Passport bros are Black American men who go overseas to other countries, and in some cases it sounds like lesser developed countries, and in their words, find wives, to find love, to find partners and matches, because in their minds, American Black women are too difficult, our expectations are too high, and we are not willing to love Black American men for them. So they go where they're valued. That's what passport bros have been pitching. But over the past couple of weeks, we've been seeing videos on TikTok where passport bros getting stuck overseas because they ain't got no money to get back. One got robbed. He was like in Colombia somewhere and he got jacked. it's just been a complete story or tale of shambles. But what sparked this today is there was a video that was on TikTok, and this brother, let me say this, and I'm not trying to be mean, because this is literally what he was. He was ashy. He was literally ashy. Like, y'all, if y'all gonna get on, get the lip chap out your pocket, get the Carmex out, bust it out, and get the Burt's Bees and wipe it on your lips. But he was talking about how in the Dominican Republic, men who are traveling from out of town, i.e. the States, are messing up the economy in the Dominican Republic. And that economy means women. It sounds like sex work too, but I ain't gonna go that far. But he basically said men are coming down there and paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for what would usually cost $100 to $200, and they are driving up prices for other men. So if a dude come down there and he trying to ball or impress, and he spent all of this money on this woman, and now her expectation is more than what it used to be, for the other men that are coming in, they are now at a disadvantage because of said imbalance. He said then what's going to happen is those foreign women, they're going to have attitudes. They're going to expect more money. And he compared them to them being like American black women. Essentially, he's talking about they driving up the price of the you know who. So there's so many. There's so many things. One, I'm really confused to the point if are passport bros going overseas to get married, or are they going over for to do it, to have sex? One, if you go overseas to get married, now in a lot of cultures, you can't show up with nothing. One. Two, if you marry someone in that is out of the country, somebody gonna have to get a visa. You gonna have to get a visa to go there. They're gonna have to get a visa to come here back to the States, which means they may not be able to find work initially, because you can't get work unless you have work authorization, which is tied to a visa. So you're gonna have to pay all of the expenses, all of them. If the point is to travel overseas and to find someone who loves you for you and is not causing you to spend all of your money and making you be the sole provider, isn't that what you're going to end up doing? Like, am I missing something? They can't, if they're not a U.S. citizen, they going to have to get a work visa. Another thing, a lot of foreign countries, you can't show up to marry someone's child if you ain't got shit. So if you didn't have it in the States, you better find it before you go to somebody's dad somewhere else and try to carry their child off to America. Now, maybe I misunderstood, but my friends who were born in other countries, they parents ain't with that shit. They ain't just pawning their kids off for the sake of just of whatever. That may be happening somewhere, but I don't know those. I don't know those families. Another thing, if you're just traveling in a passport bro and using that narrative to say, we're looking for love, I want somebody to love me for me. American black women, they don't want a good man. Okay, fine. But if you're going over there for sex, isn't it very expensive to do all of that just to get a little some? You got to pay for a flight. You had to get your passport. And it sounds like a lot of passport bros ain't had their passports ahead of time, which is, you getting a passport just to go do it? Whatever. You have to pay the passport fee. You got to get your flight. I don't know if y'all looked online, but flights out the country, they are not cheap. I ain't going to tell y'all how much my flight to Egypt was, because you're going to choke on your dinner, okay? That smoothie you drinking in the car, you going to choke. So you plan for flight. You got to pay for lodging out of the country. Now, if you're on a budget, yeah, you can find a hotel, or maybe some people be staying in like hostels and stuff. But if you're going over there trying to fake like you got it and you trying to stunt, you're not about to be taking no girl that you wanna do something with back to the hostel. How dare you? So you're gonna have to put some money up for a decent place to lay your head. Food and transportation costs. Hey, inflation happen everywhere. That ain't just in America. You gonna have to come up out them pockets. You doing all of that just to have 4 nights of sex with a stranger? You couldn't get nobody in the States that could have saved you $3,000. And then you have to pay to do it over there. Like, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how it goes. Based on this one passport bro who was online, it sounded like he was paying for sexual relations in other countries. So you dropping about $3,000 just to get a little something? Can't you just pay for that here? I'm confused, y'all. I'm so confused. If the goal is for men who feel unwanted and undesired to find true love and go somewhere else to find it, I am all for that. I know women who do something similar. We have heard many of times, go somewhere else because they love black women. Okay, cool. However, don't mask it. Just go over there for what it is. Don't mask it as I'm trying to y'all driving up the economy and all this other stuff. Like, in my opinion, just get your money up here and you'll be fine. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Because I literally am so not necessarily confused, but it seems like people ain't really thinking this through. I'm open to hearing y'all thoughts about this because that brother, the ashy man on TikTok he just sent me. Hit me up. What do y'all think about it? Okay. What do y'all think about the passport bro situation? What do y'all think about why they're going over there? Do y'all think it's worth it? What are the solutions to the point where they can just find somebody in America that likes them? What's y'all opinion? And before I wrap up too, the other piece of the conversation is that now a lot of people are saying that some men are single and struggling to find relationships because they can no longer use money and power as a way to maintain or get a woman. You have to actually be likable now because women getting their own money and can do for themselves. Hey, I'm just sharing the message that I received, wanting to know what y'all thought about it. Hit me up on social media with your thoughts. To recap this week's episode, I talked about the issues I was experiencing with uploading this podcast. Hopefully that has been resolved, but if not, we're going to keep our eye on it and try to troubleshoot as we go along. Next, quickly discussed Sierra's Vanity Fair after party dress, the sheer number that she had on, and the fact that the body was bodying and it had social media in a frenzy in a negative way. I fully support it though. Sierra's body, not the negativity. Next, Scottie Pippen. His ex-wife Larsa claims that they were having sex 4 times a day for 23 years, no breaks, no days off. I talked about my overall thoughts about that and wondering maybe it's true. Then talked about the recent trend that has been going around with Black American men calling themselves passport bros and going overseas to find love and or a little something on the side. Hit me up with your thoughts about all of these topics or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again. Thank you. And thank you again so much for sticking with us, supporting the podcast, liking and subscribing on all apps where podcasts can be heard, rating 5 stars and leaving a comment. It helps more than you know. So I really, really appreciate it. And keep sharing Black News with all of your friends and family. Be sure to hit me up on social media if you got ideas for topics. Or just hit me up in general to let me know you've been listening. Let me know your thoughts. I'm at Cornelia on all platforms across the board. That's at Cornelia, like Kenny and Ophelia. Also check my website. I got some shows coming up in Los Angeles County. Hopefully get on the road soon. But for now, if you're in the LA area, hit me up. Check Cornelia.com for show dates and details. And as always, thanks again so much, guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Keep supporting, keep growing, keep building, keep staying safe, and keep staying healthy. As always, again, I'll see you back here next time, same time, same place. Bye.